Welcome dear students for the English session of grade 7, and today we are going to deal with the topic of grammar, that is finite and non-finite verbs. So let's move ahead with verbs. We all know grammar is the soul of any language. The same way verbs also play a very important role in the language. They are considered as the integral part of the language. Any sentence will be incomplete or would be not correct if we do not take verbs in the sentence. Verbs are broadly classified into two, finite verbs and non-finite verb. So let's see the classification of finite verb. Finite verb is again divided into three, transitive verbs, intransitive verbs and auxiliary verbs. Whereas non-finite are also divided into three subcategories, that is infinitives, gerund and participle. Now we will see finite verbs in detail. What do we understand by finite verbs? When the verb in the sentence indicates the changes according to the subject, it is called finite verb. Finite verb is the main verb in the sentence and it will change according to the change in the person, number or tense. Let's take an example. Ram went to the market to purchase fruits. Here, if I change the subject, they went to the market to purchase fruits. We have got two verbs in the sentence, went and to purchase. Now, we all know that finite verb will always be the main verb in the sentence. So, went is the main verb in the sentence, which can be changed as per the tense also. If I say Ram goes to the market to purchase fruits. So here to purchase has remained as it is, but as per the tense went has changed to present tense, that is goes, right? If I change the subject and the tense, they will go to the market to purchase fruits. Here I have changed the subject and the tense also. As per the tense and the subject, the verb has changed. So this is what is finite verb. Finite verb always agrees with the changes in the person, number or tense. It always has an agreement with the subject, or we can say it agrees with the subject, tense or number. This is what is finite verb. It has past, present and future form. Transitive, intransitives and auxiliaries are all finite verbs. I hope you all have understood the difference between finite and non-finite with an example. Let's move ahead with transitive verbs. What are transitive verbs? When an action done by a subject passes on or affects the object, the verbs are called as transitive verbs, right? When the action is done by the subject and it affects the object, the verb is called as transitive verb. Transitive verb will always have an object in the sentence. Example, he lifted the boxes. Here we ask the question when, who does the subject he lift. We get the answer boxes. The action of the verb lifted. Now lifted is the verb in the sentence. When the action of the verb lifted has passed on to the object boxes, that verb will be considered as transitive verb. Now, the basic difference between intransitive verbs and transitive verb is intransitive verbs do not require an object. Please take a note of this. Intransitive verbs do not require an object and hence they are called as intransitive verbs. They can also work without an object. Example, the wind blew. Birds sing. In both the sentence, if we see the verbs like blew and sing, they do not require an object and hence such verbs are considered as intransitive verbs. Most of the verbs can be used transitively and intransitively. It is the usage of the verb in a sentence and the context which determines if it is transitive or intransitive. So as per the usage of the verb in the sentence and as per the context, we can define whether it is a transitive verb or intransitive verb. Right, children? Now we have got the third part of finite verb, that is auxiliaries, which is also considered as very important part. An auxiliary is also considered as a helping verb, children. It helps to complete the form and meaning of the main verb in the sentence. Auxiliaries are of two types. They are divided into two types: primary auxiliary and modal auxiliaries. Now let's get acquainted with what do we understand by primary auxiliary. They can be used independently without help from other verbs, right? They can be used independently also, or they can also work as the main verb in the sentence, or they help to the main verbs in the sentences. Now we have got a table over here which actually helps us to understand what a primary auxiliary. So basically we have primary auxiliary three forms, that is be, have and do, which also changes as per the tense, that is present tense and past tense. For example, now we have three forms of be, that is am, are in the present, which changes in the past as was, were, been. Have, we have two forms of have in present tense, that is has and have, which in past is had. And we have two again forms of do in the present tense, that is does and do, and in the past tense it is did. So basically if we need to understand primary auxiliary, they work as an independent verbs in the sentence. They can also be called as the main verb of the sentence, and they also changes as per the three forms of the verbs. Like base form we will have V1, we will have V2 and we will have V3. Whereas if we talk about modal auxiliaries, they do not follow the three forms of the verb. This is the basic difference of primary auxiliary and modal auxiliaries. Now here we have got first the list of modal forms. These are all the list of modal forms which you can see over here: can, cannot, could, couldn't, shall, shan't, should, shouldn't, will not, would, wouldn't, may not. These are all the modal forms or modal verbs or modal auxiliaries, we can say them. But before that, let's get acquainted with what do we understand by modal auxiliaries. Modal auxiliaries actually express various moods. It depends upon how the person speaks it. They do not change in agreement with the number and person of the subject and the tense. This was already informed that modal auxiliaries do not change in agreement with the number and person or the subject and the tense. Even though you change the subject or the tense, they remain as it is. Example is, I must reply to the letter by the end of the week. Now here we have got I as the subject, must as the modal auxiliary. If I change the subject of the sentence, they must reply to the letter by the end of the week. She must reply to the letter by the end of the week. So here the modal auxiliary does not change as per the subject. Modal auxiliaries also indicate an ability, inability to do or be something. They also talk about the necessary actions. They also are helpful for asking permission for action. They also indicate about the possibilities, about the advices, about the permission, about the obligation, about the prediction. These all things come under the indication of modal auxiliaries. I hope we all have understood what are finite verbs and their three main classifications, which is transitive verb, intransitive verb and auxiliaries. Auxiliaries again divided into two types: primary auxiliary verb and modal auxiliaries. So here we will end with this video, children, and in the next video we will be talking about non-finite verb and the detailed classification on non-finite verb. Till then, thank you very much for listening me. Goodbye. Take care.